addressing the whole situation about me appearing on the Side Scrollers podcast. My official response, and actually I would appreciate it if either Craig or someone on his staff could watch this to know my official response and how I'm approaching this, okay? Because I think they should know this up front, everything, okay? So, Craig started up his old podcast again. It used to be called Side Scrollers, and it was a podcast they used to do on ScrewAttack.com, you know, over a decade ago. And it was very popular, and it was very well known among the game space back then, before even the prominence of YouTube and all of that, okay? So when he announced he was reviving the show, it was very exciting. All the long-standing fans of ScrewAttack, they used to be called the G1s. Now they call themselves the G2s. Wow, we're excited. The podcast is coming back. And it wasn't just, oh, it's just me talking. Like, my podcast is me gabbing, right? This podcast is a panel of people, different kinds of people, guests coming in, covering news, covering other topics. It's a good podcast. I've been watching every episode since the show relaunched. I'm really enjoying the show. I recommend you look at it. If you're looking for a fun, variety-style gaming podcast with other topics addressed as well, yes, occasionally a little bit of politics gets thrown in there, but not too much. Give it a look. Side Scrollers. Okay? That's the name of the show. So, I've been watching the show or whatever. Out of the blue. I haven't mentioned this at all on stream. I'm not talking about Craig or anything on stream or anything like that, right? Out of the blue, Stuttering Craig emails me. Says, hey, Phil. So we're relaunching. This is before they relaunched the show, by the way. You know, we're relaunching the show. And we'd like to have you on as a guest. You're actually one of the people whose names popped up because we have history from back in the day. And it would be great to have you on as like a guest on the show. We have rotating guests. And we'd like you on for a show to see how it goes. So, so I thought about it. And I watched. Basically, I kind of knew what the show was going to be. And I responded and I was like, well, I guess that sounds interesting. I wish you the luck with the show. I'd like to see how the show goes this coming week and what kind of a show it's going to be. But it sounds interesting to me, something different, I told you guys I like doing different stuff now. I'm venturing out. I very much don't want to be just in my same lane doing the same kind of content forever. I feel like maybe this is an opportunity to go talk to a different audience. They probably have no idea who I am, or if they do, they only know it from the negative memes and the hate, right? They don't know who Darkside Phil really is. So to have me on a show where we're going to be not only talking about me, but addressing other topics and having a fun variety show is probably a really interesting idea, right? So I responded to him and I said, well, thanks for reaching out. Yeah, I might be interested. Let's talk a little bit more. And so where we basically left it was I was going to be, it was scheduling too, because I told him I was launching my DSP Reacts channel in February. I said, I'm going to be focused on that in February, so I really don't want to take any time away from any of my stuff right now. So what I'd like to do is wait a little bit, and then maybe we could do it late February, March, or whatever. So we talked back and forth, and we kind of established, okay, it's probably going to be sometime in March that I'll probably appear on the show. And that's where we left it for a while, like a week or two, kind of just hung there. And then finally, we started talking again. And, Craig was like, well, let's have you on the show, and let's do kind of an episode where we talk about not only you, because we want to give you time to talk about yourself, and obviously there's going to be questions and stuff, but also, do a full show with you on. And we kind of determined roughly it would be around the middle of March. That's what we determined, okay? I was like, okay, that sounds good to me. That gives me time to mess around with my setup, because the thing is, if I'm going to be on their show, I got to accommodate the show. I want to mess around with my setup here, make sure that it would work with how they're doing their show and everything. So all sounds good to me, all right? Now, I outright said to him, in the email back, all right, and I'm not reading it word for word, but I'm paraphrasing here. I basically said, listen, you got to understand something. I have a giant hate mob following me around the internet. So if I appear on your show, there's going to be drama. I say, you might not even want, I said, to my audience, my plan is, I don't even want to really promote it. I would rather have it be like a surprise where I'm on a show and then I can say, hey guys, by the way, go watch me on the show right now. It's live. And then they could go check out the show and watch it on demand after. This would prevent any kind of hateful drama or build-up around the show, because it would be kind of a surprise appearance, and that way it would avoid the nonsense. There'd be no harassment of anyone or anything, right? So that's how I was talking about it, going along with it, all right? But, I guess, they wanted to do it however they want to do it. It's their show. They can do whatever they want. And, unbeknownst to me, earlier this week, I guess, since they were starting March, what is it? Today's March 3rd, so 2 days ago. They announced that, hey, a potential guest on this show for this month is going to be Darkside Phil. And when they said that, It took a little while, but you know how the internet is. It took, a little bit, but the word started to spread. They're like, what? Oh, what? He's going to be on the show. Now, here's the thing, and this is what these guys didn't know. And this is what I feel like I should fully disclose to the internet for full explanation purposes, because I don't want anyone to feel like they're getting burnt here. If you remember many months ago, back in like the fall, there was a period where there was a bunch of prominent YouTubers who were kind of ragging on me constantly, and it really irked me the wrong way. It rubbed me the wrong way. Because here's the thing. If you want to talk about me in a negative light, that's fine, but then give me a fair shake. No one wants to do that. Everyone wants to name drop me in a very toxic negative light, referencing all the memes, all the tropes, all the nonsense, but no one actually wants to talk to me. Instead, they just want to do... We were just watching the Pro Jared documentary, correct? And what did Pro Jared say? For 3 months, everyone just literally crapped on me, but no one ever reached out to me to talk to me about these things. Instead, it was just crap on him. Who cares? He's the whipping boy of the internet. Now, that was 3 months for Pro Jared. That was 3 months for Pro Jared. For me, it's been 10 years. Okay? 10 years of people constantly just dumping. When does anyone reach out to me and say, we would like to give you your fair shake? Let's talk to you. Let's get it from the perspective of the person who's being shit on all the time, right? To get his side. Never. Never has that happened. The one person who reached out to me over the years was the Quartering. I was on his show. I answered literally every question, and he got crapped on. Oh, that was terrible. Oh, that was an awful interview. Why was he on the show? It was a waste of everyone's time. Why? Because he didn't eviscerate me. He didn't sit there and make fun of me. He didn't sit there and be nasty to me. He didn't sit there and essentially make demands of me that were unrealistic. He was just trying to have me as a guest, right? And ask questions, which I answered. My answers, whether they're satisfactory to you or not, are for you to judge. But, basically, I guess to him it was like a waste of time. And he ended up, I almost feel like he feels like he ended up being the worst for having done the interview. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe you could get that from him. Someone could ask him, how does he feel about it? But I almost feel like people dumped on him for doing the interview, but not eviscerating me during the interview. Correct. Since then, I have not done a single interview. No one's asked. Until this last fall, when I got pissed off about the entire internet dumping on me. And I said, if you want to dump on me, actually talk to me. Do it in, let's have a fair time where we can go back and forth. And if you really have questions or whatever, let's do it. Let's talk. And I'll be honest, yes, there were a lot of people who reached out. YouTubers, prominent YouTubers with millions plus subs. People who have drama shows. All kinds of shit. Okay? And ultimately, after talking with all these people, I kind of narrowed it down to 2 people who I feel would be very trustworthy people to do a full in-depth expose style project with. It wouldn't just be, Phil is interviewed. It would be someone wants to actually cover the entire situation fairly from all perspectives. All right? But ultimately, by the time that I got to the point where I came to that decision, no one really cared anymore. All that bullshit had died down. The negative name drops stopped. I stopped addressing. I've hopefully done a good job in the last couple of months or 3 months. I guess it was like November-ish when this happened. So you figure, 3.5, 4 months. I've done my best to stop addressing the bullshit on my streams. When someone tries to bait me with some bullshit, this guy said this about you. What do you think? Or here's a topic that will obviously inadvertently get you to talk about something you weren't intending. What do you think? I just say, oh, look, it's a troll thing. Bye. And I think a lot of people are pissy about that. Oh, why doesn't he read it? Because it's just bait. It's just bait, and I'm not going to fall for the bait anymore. As I've told you guys, my intention is to make content for my audience. It is curated content for a small audience. I have no aspirations to be a giant, prominent YouTuber, to be filthy rich, to have millions of views. I don't care about any of that. I just want to be able to make content I enjoy and my viewers enjoy in a space where we can all enjoy each other's company in a social aspect, period. That's it. I don't care about any of the other white noise around it at all. It has nothing to do with me. I don't care about any of it. Okay, I'm not even involved in it. So, since things are going good, why rain on that parade? Why poke a hornet's nest when the hornets have calmed down, right? So, I've talked with a couple different people who still are very, very interested in working with me on doing something large scale and having my actual involvement along the way. I'm down for that at some point when I feel it is the right time for that. You will see that. I promise you, because these are people who are good people, nice people who don't necessarily love me. But they're people who I feel like if they wanted to really do a full, people always say, will you do a biography? Like, that's literally what it would be. It would be like covering me and my history as an internet content creator from start to finish. Every rise and every fall, every mistake, but every triumph. You know, being fair as opposed to, oh, every negative thing and that's it. Both perspectives, you see? So I'm down for that when it's the right time. Now is not the right time, in my opinion. I'm busy now. I'm starting a new channel. I got all this stuff going on in my life. I'm not doing that right now, okay? So that's basically what's been going on, and that's it. Now I'm focused on my own stuff. So when I got offered to be on this podcast out of the blue, I didn't solicit it or anything. I was like, oh, this could be something neat to do for variety or whatever. It's certainly not what I was looking to do with that. It's something completely different. I want to hang out on the show with these guys, talk about news topics, be a little silly. It's a fun show. So on March 1st, 2 days ago, they just casually say, oh, you know, this guy's going to be on our show this month. And that was it. And I knew it. I knew if they did this, this is what would happen. Of course, all the haters, all the trolls, all the detractors, they come out of the woodwork. They start flooding their show on a daily basis. What are you going to ask? Are you going to bring up this? Are you going to bring up that? And it's all the same misinformation as always. It's literally the same parroted stuff because these people have not come up with anything new in years. It's always the same shtick now. It's not even, you know, it used to be, they used to go through these sagas, right? It used to be, oh, first it's this is how you don't play saga. Then it's the DDoS getting swatted, getting false copyright saga. Then it was the taxes saga. Then it was the bankruptcy saga, the escort saga. They think my life is an anime. It's not, but they think it is. That's how they treat it. They think that doing shit like that is somehow like acceptable. It's not. It's very, very messed up. Okay? So to them, this is another saga. To me, I just wanted to be on a show and have fun and kind of hang out and have a good time with a bunch of guys or gals or whatever, whoever they have on the show that day, and have a good time, something different. Instead, within one day, 24 hours, the whole thing gets blown up into drama. What drama questions will you ask Phil? Okay? So, I get wind of this, and I'm like, well, I knew it was going to happen. I knew if they mentioned it, this was going to happen. I'm not stupid. It's only happened every other time. So, you know, I've been going back and forth with Craig, and this morning, Craig read an email on the show, his show, Side Scrollers. You can watch it. It's live right now over on their channel. He read the email. It's word for word the email that I'd sent him. But in a nutshell, here's the deal. Craig feels pressured by the internet that if he's going to have me on as a guest, it can't just be a normal show where we shoot the shit for 5 minutes and then they're on to topics and things. It has to be about me. I don't like that. I'll be honest. I had no intention of this being the DSP show. It's supposed to be Side Scrollers with special guest DSP. But because these people completely decide to dominate every aspect of anything to do with me on the internet, you know, it seems like, again, I can't enjoy things other people can enjoy. Anyone else can go on a podcast and be a fun special guest, but not Phil. Phil can't have the fun things everyone else has. I can't have a sponsor because these people go and harass the sponsor. I can't have a fun appearance on a show. It's not fair. It's just not. I'm upset. I am genuinely upset, and I'm not upset with Craig or the hosts of the Side Scroller show. I'm not. I'm upset with the situation that's created itself on the internet that I try to separate myself from at every moment. It's like, oh, here's a chance where I can actually do something that a normal person would do. Oh, that's not allowed for Phil. Phil has to still be the whipping boy. He has to be treated like shit, you know. And I'm tired of it, man. It does. It breaks me down. It makes me feel like shit that I can't just have fun, all right? So now, you know, I wanted to go on this show and just have a good time like everyone else is entitled to. And instead, what's it got to be? It's got to be an interrogation, all right? But here's the thing. There's a difference between you're going in front of an audience that's genuinely curious, likely open-minded, not saying my detractors because you know that they want to watch this and hear it, but to go in front of people who are essentially just hearing about all this bullshit for the first time, and they have genuine questions about it, okay? So that's the difference. It's different because you can go in with preconceived notions, but I feel like if I went and, if Craig's sitting there and asking me questions, or Adam, that's the other co-host, or Travis, or whoever is there and they're asking me questions, it's more of from a curiosity, and actually I want to get some facts perspective. It's not, we're going into this with 400 negative preconceived notions about Phil, and we already believe them all. And no matter what he says or does, we hate him anyway, right? So I don't think that's the case. This is not a trap. This is not me going on Destiny's show where he's outright admitted that he was going to try to set up traps for me to make me look like shit. That's not what this podcast is at all. I feel like it's the actual complete opposite situation. People who are genuinely interested in talking to me and hearing my story, and they can make judgments for themselves. And again, I hope that people are watching from that 50-minute timestamp on here, Craig and the guys on the show. Hell, if you want to play this back on your show, I give you permission to. It's up to you. If you want to ask me anything, go ahead. I will answer to the best of my ability. I will answer in a situation, in a way that basically I'm not going to put myself at risk, and allow me to explain what I mean by that, because I will talk about this obviously on the show. Okay. These people are so crazy. They do absolutely anything. They will take any little crumb of any piece of data and find a way to spin it into something that can harm me and my family. And they have. This started off 10 years ago with a stupid thing called This Is How You Don't Play, which I'm sure I'm going to talk about, how it all started. And literally since then, it's just become such a viral meme on YouTube that Phil is a person, a lol cow, who is to be hurt at every moment, and no one ever has to feel bad about it, because we have basically said so many negative things about him. Some of them have to eventually be true, and therefore we're justified in the level of harassment that he's received over the years, and he doesn't deserve any kind of positivity, any kind of success, hell, any even kind of safety. Destroy all that. He should be literally tortured for the rest of his life for the horrible, horrible things that he's done. That's this mentality on the internet that there is. And, it's painful, man. I just want to do my thing. I just want to have fun with an audience, a small audience. I don't have a big audience. I'm not some giant YouTuber, man. I just want to do something with my guys here and my gals, and not have to worry about people getting harassed, about all this stuff. It's like, I just want to be on a podcast. Now, here comes the harassment brigade, like within moments of dropping the name, right? So, here's the thing, all right? As long as there is buy-in, that these guys are going to make sure that there is no kind of risk. And what I mean by that is no doxing, right? No discussion of stuff that has absolutely, positively nothing to do with me. Because this is the problem, is these people have gone so far down the rabbit hole of information to try to harass people, not only just me directly, but family members and other people on the periphery that have nothing to do. You know what I'm saying? So what's going to happen is I'm going to go on the show, and immediately the view count's going to skyrocket 5 times with my detractors, and they're going to come in, they're going to be doing disgusting memes about myself and my wife. They're going to be posting up personal information. They're going to be doing every nasty, disgusting possible thing. I mean, just to give you an example of it. It's already happened, and Craig doesn't even know, so I hope he's going to hear this and he'll kind of understand. This morning on the podcast, he brought up someone who is a regular of these streams, who is a regular victim of harassment from my detractors. This person has literally never done a thing wrong on my streams. They are one of the nicest people that comes to my content all the time, all right? But my detractors hate this person because he talks a lot, and he likes to get my attention, and he likes to have conversation with me because my streams are personable. So they go and they harass this person online. All right, I'll say his name's Derek. Everyone knows his name is Derek, right? Now, they basically harass this guy, and they go into all his social media shit and everything. That's no one's business. Just because you're an attendee of a stream doesn't mean someone should harass this guy. This guy is not a whale, because Craig had the misconception this guy's a whale. He doesn't contribute. He's just a viewer. He doesn't contribute financially at all. He just sits here and talks nicely with me every day, right? If you didn't pry into his personal life, you would never know anything negative about the guy. But these people are sick. So they go into his social media accounts, they look at this stuff, and they harass him. So what did they do? They went on the Side Scrollers podcast, and they said, oh, you got to ask Phil about Derek, because he's a whale of Phil's, and he has, this and that going on in his personal life. I was like, wait, what? That's not even true. Like, that's blatant misinformation. Already it's begun. I mean, we're 2 days out from being announced that I'm on the show, and already Craig and crew have been bombarded with complete misinformation about me, about how I operate, about my viewers. What a shock, right? Because here's the thing. Who has the vested interest in this appearance? The detractors do, right? My fans do it. Oh, it's nice that Phil's going to appear on this show. Yeah, we'll watch it. This will be cool. But they already have a place to be with me every day, my own content, right? So it's not the fans that are going to be jumping on. It's going to be the detractors that are going to go, oh, this is our opportunity to sink our hooks into someone else who hasn't heard about all the crap about DSP and to let them believe it. Yeah, I mean, I hate to say it because it really is. It's a cultish mentality. It's this weird cult-like mentality of hate. And it started 10 years ago with this is how you don't play, and it just continued. It's wave after wave. There's always another reason. When one thing passes, the next thing comes up to continue the system of harassment that's happened to me for now over a decade. And it has to stop at some point, but at this point, I don't see how it ever will, because when you're in a system that promotes it, YouTube promotes it, YouTube promotes harassment, there is no way to protect yourself against it besides being rich and suing people directly for defamation or slander. And I'm not rich, so I can't do that. I can't sue the hundreds to thousands of people who have said these horrible things about me over the years. So I just ignore it. And I like I said, I sit in my lane, I make my own content, and I ignore it. So what happens? It thrives, it propagates, it festers, it becomes worse and worse, right? But what can I do? If I address it, you're giving attention to it, it just gets worse. If you ignore it, it festers, it just gets worse. There's no solution to it. So this is not fair that in 2023, years removed from some of the horrendous things that I've openly admitted I did a decade ago, you know, that I get this kind of harassment, and now I just want to do something fun. I can't do it. Phil's not allowed to have fun. Fun on the internet for Phil? No, screw him. We got to ruin it. So they have, you know, effectively that's what they've done. They've turned this to that. It should have been a fun podcast appearance and turned it into, well, now this has to be an interrogation of Phil because, you know, God forbid that anyone actually just judge something at face value, have him on as a guest, as opposed to, you know, now we must have 400 questions of horrible accusations addressed before we even get to anything fun. You know, I don't know. So here's the thing. I said to Craig, if you can guarantee me the safety of me and my family and everyone around, meaning no doxing, you know, no leaking of any personal information, no allowing people to post nasty, ridiculous things about this, you know what I'm saying? Then I would definitely say I'm in line with it. And by the way, here's the other thing, because this is what the idiot detractors say. Phil would never go on a show and just let anyone ask him anything. Absolutely not. Why? Why wouldn't I? What's the point of having someone talk to you if you're going to limit the conversation, right? When I went on the Quartering, all right, his show, people made all this shit up about, oh, Phil told the Quartering he can't ask this, he can't ask this, he can't ask this. Oh, by the way, the Quartering paid Phil to be on the show. Wrong, 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 and wrong. None of that was true, but they just believed it anyway. And it's actually become, they think it's fact that that interview was staged, it wasn't real, and he paid me to be on the show. It's all lies. But they think it's true because they're stupid. They talk themselves into believing things that aren't true, and then that's their truth that they then post all over the internet and benefit from. Clickbait views, money, ad revenue, contributions to propagate the hate. Right now, this very podcast is being rebroadcast by likely a dozen different people, all talking junk over it with their own viewers, where my content gives them content. And look at my content. Is it toxic? And this is what I will say too, because I'm going to stop talking about this in a second, but I got to get this off my chest. And again, I hope that Craig and the side scrollers people are watching this. If you want to know the truth about me and my content, watch some of it. And I don't mean watch the detractor montage, watch this guy who only critiques the negative things or whatever. And it doesn't have to be a long segment. Watch me play a game for, a live stream that I'm doing of a game for an hour. Whether it's I would recommend a late night chill stream, only because the late night streams that I do are more relaxed. I have a lot more interaction with my smaller audience. On the late streams, the daytime streams typically end up being a lot more focused on the game, especially because I play a lot of new releases on the earlier streams. But I would say the late night streams are the best ones. And I'm not saying you have to sit here and watch it for 2-3 straight hours. Sit down for 20 minutes and just watch how the stream goes. Watch